Hi, I'm Craig Brelsford, and welcome to another episode of Small Stocks, Big Money. For those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines global multimedia with traditional investor relations, reaching investors around the world. Now, today's show features interviews with executives of two public companies. First up is Genetic Technologies, stock symbol GENE on the NASDAQ. Genetic Technologies is a diversified molecular diagnostics company. It is a global leader in genomics-based tests in health, wellness, and serious disease through its GeneType and EasyDNA brands. Gene offers cancer predictive testing and assessment tools to help physicians improve health outcomes for people around the world. The company has a proprietary risk stratification platform that has been developed over the past decade and that integrates clinical and genetic risk to deliver actionable outcomes to physicians and individuals. Leading the world in risk prediction in oncology, cardiovascular, and metabolic diseases, Genetic Technologies continues to develop risk assessment products. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Up next is BIOVIE, stock symbol BIVI on the NASDAQ. BIOVIE is a clinical stage company developing what it believes will be transformative therapies to overcome unmet medical needs in neurodegeneration and liver disease. The company is developing NE3107 for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and BIV201 for refractory ascites and HRS-AKI. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Now, before we get into our first interview, our quote of the week. It comes from the book Small Stocks, Big Money. Invest in something you can get your arms around and be very conservative. Own enough stocks so that you are not putting all your eggs in one basket. That quote comes from David Maley, fund manager of Ariel Discovery Fund, featured in Chapter 5 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book of exclusive interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now, let's get started with our first interview today with Genetic Technologies. Hello there. Today we have Simon Morris, CEO of Genetic Technologies, which trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol GENE. Simon, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now start by giving us, please, a broad overview of Genetic Technologies. Specifically, how is your company pioneering the field of precision medicine with its genomics-based test, and what impact do you see this having on the future of healthcare?
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Our vision at Genetic Technologies is to be the world leader in personalized predictive genomics, empowering individuals to truly take control of their health. We turn cutting-edge science into personalized predictive tests using AI and machine learning techniques. A simple, non-invasive, saliva-based test can identify an individual's risk of serious disease in the next 5 years or their lifetime. Our focus is on oncology-based tests, cardiovascular, metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes, and we have the ability to improve the health of populations worldwide.
Genetic Technologies, as you well know, is operating in a rapidly evolving sector. With your focus on oncology as well as cardiovascular and metabolic diseases, can you discuss the size of the market opportunity you're addressing and how your innovative products, for example, the GeneType tests, meet that unmet need in the space?
Yeah, we operate in multi-billion-dollar markets in both clinical testing for our GeneType brand and consumer genomics for our EasyDNA brand. Our focus is on innovation. Recently launched comprehensive test for hereditary breast and ovarian cancer, which is truly an unmet need, where you look at the hereditary genetic mutation plus the sporadic and the familial history in a custom test for hereditary breast and ovarian cancer. So innovation is absolutely key. Our other focus for both our brands is on new markets. For example, the launch of EasyDNA brand into the UK pharmacy channel in April this year, just coming up around the corner. And looking at other market opportunities where this test has a population-wide relevance in the EU and Southeast Asian markets for opportunities for the GeneType brand. both underpinned by strong digital strategies to drive consumer engagement with both of our brands.
Simon, your company has shown remarkable progress, as evidenced by a record number of gene type tests that have been processed and significant cash receipts in the last quarter. Can you elaborate on your business model and how it supports sustainable growth, especially your digital strategy for consumers and expansion into new markets such as Southeast Asia and the United Kingdom?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited by the trend of which the GeneType brand and the number of tests being returned to our lab is continuing to increase. It's really exciting and encouraging to see more and more physicians get on board. But we can't just stop there. We have the opportunity to continue to push into new markets, as you mentioned, like European Union there. So there are lots of countries that are looking for innovation for early detection of serious disease so they can have a truly positive impact on the health of the populations in their markets. Likewise, in Southeast Asia, but we can't just go into Southeast Asia. There are so many differences and nuances around all of the different countries. So we're looking at those market opportunities there one by one by one and making sure that we get the model right in order to be able to be successful and focus heavy on successful execution. You talked about the digital strategy. That is key as an enabler in all of the markets, in all of the consumer groups that we look at to drive the success of our brands into the future.
The recent appointment of experienced commercial advisors and the launch of new tests, Simon, highlight your strategic initiatives, which is to capitalize on that burgeoning consumer personalized health and wellness sector. Could you tell us more about the strengths of your management team and those advisors and how their expertise is guiding Genetic Technologies towards achieving its goals?
Yeah, I mean, the team and the talent within the team are the critical enablers of the success of our organization going forward. Without them, we wouldn't be able to achieve what we've achieved so far or achieve what we plan to in the future. So I'll talk specifically about the two new advisors to the board that have joined the team in order to be able to help us transform our organization from where we were 20 years ago as an innovation R&D company, now really pushing into heavy commercialization strategies and embarking on that pathway to profitability for our organization over the course of the next 15 to 18 months. We've introduced two new members to the team, Malcolm Baum, who is US-based innovation strategy for direct-to-consumer, consumer-initiated pathways, and specifically building women's health communities. We've also introduced Annabella into the Australian team, and she has a strong history in commercialization of medical devices and drug development in many international regions, and really adds a lot of value to our B2B initiatives. And we're very, very excited to have them as part of our team to help build our sort of commercial muscle, if you like, to actually drive material revenues for the organization going forward.
The MRFF grant for your compellingly named cassowary trial is a testament to your commitment to groundbreaking research. Can you share insights into how this trial and your ongoing R&D efforts are set to reshape risk assessment and care standards in general practice?
Yeah, I'll touch on three simple points here. This is absolutely a groundbreaking trial in partnership with the University of Melbourne in Australia. This will reshape the future of cancer detection in general practice with primary care physicians, not only in Australia, but transferable across to markets and origins and health systems across the world. It'll focus on the clinic, it'll focus on more than 800 participants, and the aim is to rewrite the guidelines for early cancer detection. So as you say, it is absolutely groundbreaking and one of the most exciting trials in cancer detection that's ever been undertaken.
Simon, Genetic Technologies has had some significant achievements, such as the precision medicine pilot with Gold Coast Private Hospital and your expansion into global markets, as we have been discussing. Now, what are Genetic Technologies' key strategies for future growth? And how do you plan to leverage recent successes to further innovate and expand your market presence?
Yeah, firstly, I'd love to say that the Gold Coast Private Hospital pilot was one of the most remarkable, innovative pilots that we've commenced. We're only halfway through it at the moment, but it's so exciting to see precision medicine, early detection, risk identification introduced into a hospital care system, and we're really excited by that and what that's going to show in the near future. What's really critical to the success of our organization is focus. Focus is critical. Execution is key. A strong digital strategy driving engagement with our brands and our consumers, continuing to identify new market opportunities, particularly in Europe and Southeast Asia, and continuing to innovate the most comprehensive risk assessment tests will make sure that we stay more advanced than any of our competition and be successful as an organization going forward.
Now, Simon, give us the essential value proposition, please. Why should investors take an interest in genetic technologies right now?
Through a simple, non-invasive, saliva-based test, GeneType can identify your individual risk of serious disease even when there's no family history. A population-wide screening tool that will lead to early detection and save lives. It's an incredible time to join as we materialize a number of major commercial initiatives and drive material revenues for the company over the course of the next 12 months. Early detection saves lives, and we can improve the health of populations worldwide.
Simon, it's always a pleasure to talk to you and get an update on your great company. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Craig.
Now, to get more information on genetic technologies, visit genetechinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 407-644-4256 to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at RedChip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like genetic technologies. Again, visit RedChip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can also order your copy of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book written by RedChip's CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Order your copy at RedChip.com today for just $18. And also go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Now, let's move on to our next interview today with BIOVIE. Hello, today we have Kong Do, President and CEO of BIOVIE, which trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol BIVI. Kong, thanks once again for being with us.
Craig, thank you so much for having me. Great to be with you.
BIOVIE, Kong, a clinical stage company with multiple late-stage programs targeting neurological and neurodegenerative disorders, as well as advanced liver disease. Let's start with a brief overview of BIOVIE for those that might be unfamiliar with your company.
Well, BIOVIE has two assets in the development right now. Our lead asset is NE3107, which in the clinic has shown that it can reduce inflammation and the associated insulin resistance. For Alzheimer's patients, they have experienced improvement in cognition and function. For Parkinson's patients, they've experienced improved motor control, as well as 3107 has been able to show that it can reduce something called DNA methylation, which is effectively a changing or biological aging process. In addition, we have BIV201 in the clinic starting a phase 3 program for ascites, which is late-stage liver disease.
Kong, could you update us on the status of the phase 2B trial for NE3107 as a first-line monotherapy for Parkinson's disease?
Yes, thank you for that. That is actually our highest priority program. We conducted and completed a phase 2A in Parkinson's last year. And what we found in the phase 2A are Parkinson's patients that were given 3107 and levodopa saw a significant increase in their degree of motor control compared to those that were given just levodopa alone. Based upon those results and the results that we had in preclinical work in non-human primates, our experts really advised us to change our priorities. So instead of going first with 3107 as combination with levodopa, they urged us to go with 3107 as monotherapy and as first-line therapy. And they're absolutely right for all the reasons that we can go into later. So our plans is to initiate a phase 2b trial for Parkinson's patients this coming summer. This trial will give 3107 alone to Parkinson's patients who now need to have therapy for their symptoms. So we hope to have that trial started later on this summer, and we target having top-line data results early part of next year, perhaps middle of next year. This is a relatively simple and short trial and small to be conducted. So that's our number one priority as a company.
You've reported encouraging trending data from your Alzheimer's program. Talk to us about your plans for an upcoming phase 3 study in mild to moderate Alzheimer's patients.
In a trial that we unblinded late last year, we saw that patients treated with 3107 experienced a 68% slowing of cognitive decline compared to patients treated with placebo on a metric called CDR-SB, which is a common metric to assess cognitive decline. What's so significant about that was 68% slowing of cognitive decline over 6 months of treatment. To give you a context, you may have heard about the drug Leqembi from Aside. It was approved by the FDA last year. That drug showed a 27% slowing of cognitive decline after 18 months of treatment. Now, this is not meant to be an apples-to-apples comparison because you can only do that in a single trial, but it gives you some comparative information on what's the magnitude of impact 3107 has. In addition to CDR-SB, we looked at a number of other functional and cognitive measures as well. And on all of those, 3107's treatment advantage over placebo was quite significant, comparable to or greater than what's been shown for the other drugs. But unfortunately, we did not have enough patient samples in that trial to have statistical significance. So our plan is to go and conduct a phase 3 trial with 3107, so with two co-primary endpoints of CDR-SB and something called ADAS-Cog. Our plan is to start that trial in early to middle of next year, so early to middle 2025. And the reason why we're delaying that a little bit is, frankly, it just takes a little bit of time to start a new trial. But primarily, we want to use a new formulation, a once-a-day formulation of 3107 that we believe will help patients increase their drug adherence, right? And this is very helpful for a population that's inherently forgetful to begin with.
BIOVIE is preparing for a phase 3 trial for BIVI 201 targeting refractory ascites. What can you tell us about this program and its next steps?
Yes, what we saw in our phase 2b was significant efficacy for the drug. We were targeting to enroll 30 patients in this phase 2b trial, but we terminated the trial halfway through. We already had statistically significant data showing patients treated with BIVI 201 experienced a 50% reduction of their ascites fluid buildup compared to no change for the standard of care. Given that this is a condition that has 50+% mortality rate within 12 months, we concluded that the only responsible thing that we can do as a company is to stop the trial early and engage the FDA in a conversation on how to move it directly to phase 3. You may recall that BIVI 201 has already received orphan and fast track designation. As such, we only need one phase 3 trial for registration. And as of now, we have received the feedback that we need from the FDA to move it to phase 3 trial. And given where we stand in the company, we are putting this program on hold until such time as we have a partner identified that's willing to fund it or co-fund the program with us. And we are in conversations with several companies regarding that right now.
Kong, you recently completed a financing round that raised gross proceeds of $21 million. How far will those funds take you?
The funds that we recently raised, in addition to what we already have in the bank, will allow us to go and initiate the phase 2b for Parkinson's. Like I said, that is our number one priority, and we believe that's enough to get us the data that we need early to middle of next year on the impact of 3107 as monotherapy, first-line therapy for Parkinson's patients. Everything else is essentially on hold until some additional funding comes through. And we believe we will have some additional funding. We have some grants that are underway, and we're exploring partnership conversation as well as some non-dilutive funding options as well.
Now, Kong, could you give us the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in BIOVIE right now?
BIOVIE is one of the most exciting portfolio, I believe, that exists in biotech right now. We are working on some of the most difficult conditions out there, right? Alzheimer's, the last unsolved, a great unmet medical need. Parkinson's, in 3107, we believe we can have the first new therapy for Parkinson's since levodopa was introduced over 50 years ago. And in BIV 201, we believe we could have the first therapy for ascites. Right? So we believe we have a great portfolio. We also represent a great buying opportunity right now. So for shareholders who recognize the value of our science and who have the patience within the course of the next year or two for the data readouts on these trials, we believe we represent a great buying opportunity for those who invest in the long term.
It's always a pleasure talking to you about your exciting company, Kong. Thanks for the updates.
Great. Thank you so much for having me here.
Now, to get more information on BIOVIE, visit biviinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 407-644-4256 to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies such as BIOVIE. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can order Small Stocks, Big Money. This is a book written by RedChip's CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon for $18. Now let's recap the companies featured today. First, you met Genetic Technologies, stock symbol GENE on the NASDAQ. Genetic Technologies is a diversified molecular diagnostics company, a global leader in genomics-based tests in health, wellness, and serious disease through its Gene Type and Easy DNA brands. Gene offers cancer predictive testing and assessment tools to help physicians improve health outcomes for people around the world. The company has a proprietary risk stratification platform that has been developed over the past decade, and it integrates clinical and genetic risk to deliver actionable outcomes to physicians and individuals. Leading the world in risk prediction in oncology, cardiovascular, and metabolic diseases, Genetic Technologies continues to develop risk assessment products. Learn more at genetechinfo.com. Then you met BIOVIE, stock symbol BIVI on the NASDAQ. BIOVIE is a clinical stage company developing what it believes will be transformative therapies to overcome unmet medical needs in neurodegeneration and liver disease. The company is developing NE3107 for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and BIV 201 for refractory ascites and HRS-AKI. Learn more at www.biviinfo.com. Again, if you have any questions about any of our public companies featured on today's show, call us at 407-644-4256 or email us at info@redchip.com. And be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter and learn about a lot of small cap companies, and also go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO and you'll be able to ask questions after that. In closing, remember, while small caps can provide significant gains, you must be prepared for the downside. Small cap stocks are among the most volatile of asset classes. Some of the companies featured on this show are RedChip client companies, and we may own stock in these companies, so please always read our disclosures at redchip.com. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next week with some new, exciting, emerging growth companies.
Hello, I'm Bob DeLorean. I am the chairman and CEO of Excel Brands. Excel is an industry leader in live stream shopping over linear television. This year, we passed over $4 billion in sales on QVC, HSN, and other networks like them around the world. We have over 20,000 hours of programming time and have an outstanding team of managers that have all worked together over the last 30 years in prior companies and 13 years in Excel Brands. We believe that our company is positioned for very strong growth over the next 3 to 5 years, given recent licensing agreements that we've entered into with our brands and expense cuts that we've made to our P&L, and are in the process of launching a new live stream platform that will turn the everyday shopper into a paid social media influencer. We believe this is going to revolutionize shopping over the internet. It will become a very significant part of all e-commerce platforms, and it will enable every shopper to become a paid influencer. People will simply think differently about sharing information about brands and retailers over the internet and social media platforms when they become a member of our new Orme platform. To learn more about us, visit us on our website at excelbrands.com.